साथियों, बाबा साहब ने एक बात कहा है कि कंफ्यूजन इज द बिगेस्ट एनिमी। हमारे सोसाइटी में ज़्यादा लोग हैं और ज़्यादा लोग में ज़्यादा लोग कंफ्यूज्ड है। इसमें पढ़े लिखे लोगों भी, ये बहुत क्राइसिस का बात है बेसिकली। एंड वी नो BAMSF is such a kind of an organization in the context where जो लोग, जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स है हमारा समाज के, when all these representatives they have failed in representing the issues of our society, it has been the historical development that BAMSF has come into the scene, and BAMSF has started giving the direction to the right kind of direction to the society. साथियों, आप देखा होगा ये टॉपिक को BAMSF कई बार ये टॉपिक में चर्चा कर दी, ओवर रिप्रेजेंटेशन के बारे में, अंडर रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ मूल निवासी के बारे में। यस, वी हैव डिस्कस्ड दिस सेवरल टाइम्स। जब हम फील्ड में ये पर्चा डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे कि हमारा साथी लोग ने कहे भाई वी हैव बीन डिस्कसिंग दिस फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम, बट देन व्हाई अगेन BAMSF स्टार्टेड डिस्कसिंग दिस इश्यू। सो साथियों, CEC BAMSF का सेंट्रल एग्जीक्यूटिव कमेटी ने ये टॉपिक को डिसाइड कर दिया है। टॉपिक्स चर्चा करके, गंभीर चर्चा करके टॉपिक्स डिसाइड कर देता है। सो व्हाट वाज द इंटेंशन ऑफ BAMSF टू डिस्कस दिस टॉपिक राइट नाउ? What is the situation that we, in fact, the context which this issue is being discussed? It has been established, हम सभी जानते हैं। If some कोई लोग, in fact, they want to discuss, we can discuss them, but it has been established that Brahmin have been controlling all the issues of governance of this country. कोई शक नहीं इसमें। We have data, we have evidences. We don't have to discuss on that. It has been established that they have been ruling this country in spite of being a minority. But the point is why we are discussing this point. One is, friends, we always talk about representation. गंगवाने साहब ने एक बात कह दिया, बाबा साहब ने, he has demanded for rights and we were given reservations. फूले साहब से बाबा साहब तक वो राइट्स के बात मांगी, दे डिमांडेड राइट्स, बट व्हाट वी वर गिवन आर रिजर्वेशंस। से ये दो वर्ड्स में इतना अंतर है। द डिफरेंस इज द डिफरेंस ऑफ कल्चर। बाबा साहब ने डायरेक्टली कह दिया कि देयर आर टू कल्चर्स इन दिस सोसाइटी। देयर हैज बीन कल्चर ऑफ रिजर्वेशंस and we have to destroy that culture of reservations, and we have to establish the culture of representations. That is why we talk about representations and biomedical society talks about reservations. बाबा साहब के बातों में मैं करते हूं, I quote बाबा साहब. He said, according to the laws of Manusmriti, the post of Purohits, chief justice, posts of ministers were all reserved for Brahmins. This is not all. The Brahmin was not content with reserving places of profit for his class. He knew mere reservation will not do. He must prevent rivals shooting up from other non-Brahmin communities equally qualified to hold posts and agitate to blow up the system of reservations. Unquote. ये बात बाबा साहब ने लिखा है clearly. बाबा साहब बताए कि हमके this culture of reservations of Brahminical society, they have started a system of reservations. And we don't want reservations. वो रिजर्वेशंस का तरीका कैसे है? ये रिजर्वेशंस, ये कल्चर ऑफ रिजर्वेशंस ब्राह्मण का है, वो 100% रिजर्वेशंस है. They are system of monopoly. We are not asking for monopoly. Had we been asking for a monopoly, then we are not democrats. We will not be establishing a democratic society. We were demanding for our right of representation. The problem with our society is, our society understood the logic of representation. That is the biggest problem. इसीलिए तो हमसे बार बार बेसिकली रिप्रेजेंटेशन क्या है. बोरकर साहब कई बार हमको बताया कि क्या रिप्रेजेंटेशन है बेसिकली. But it is a sad plight of situation that so-called beneficiaries of Baba Sahib, the full Ambedkar movement, they could not understand the logic of representations. They still talk about reservations. So therefore, my dear friend, we are not interested in reservations. We are talking about representations. And what kind of representations? We are not just simply asking for posts and then for seats in the educational institutions. No. The logic of representation ऐसा नहीं है. Representation is the right to enter into the governance of this country. It's a democratic right. We are talking about that. And दूसरी context है why we are talking about this particular issue is that, see, the progress of Brahmins, particularly when they had the culture of reservations, they had monopoly in all aspects of governance. Because Baba Sahib has brought the system of culture of representations through constitution, then they have become overrepresented. And today, in the times of post-globalization, globalization तो एक process है. Every process will have its own life. 20-25 years, that life has gone. Today we are now in the stage of post-globalization. In the post-globalization period, the Brahmins are now becoming into, from over-representation to the monopoly. They are now becoming monopoly. That is the crisis that we have been entering today. That is why BAMSF is discussing this aspect. From monopoly to over-representation, and now they are progressing towards monopoly. So, BAMSF as a watchdog of the society, it is now in fact making us aware that this danger of imminent danger is there before us, and we have to take up that challenge. But the point is, are we in a position to take up that challenge? We are not. This is what BAMSF is telling us. We are not. Because to divert us from the awareness of being, the Brahmins are being a monopoly, they are diverting us that within this system of representation, though called the 15%, 7% and 27%, they are saying that some castes are being overrepresented. They are diverting us, and we have fallen a trap into that particular thing. Everybody in the society has fallen a trap. The so-called academics, the so-called activists, social activists, see the so-called writers of our society, everybody has fallen into that trap. And they said, this is a significant development which is happening in this society. ये कैटरकेस्ट क्या मामला है? कई लोग बताते हैं ये नई डेवलपमेंट है. कास्ट आपस में झगड़ा करना ये नई डेवलपमेंट है. आप देखिए दलित वॉइस का एडिटर वीटी राजशेखर ने वो कई बार लिखा है दलित वॉइस में, ये एक नई तरीका का मूवमेंट आ रहा है. कि एक किताब भी लिखा है, वो किताब का नाम है कास्ट एज नेशंस. वो बता रहे कि each caste will have its own identity and they will have their own share of representations in the posts and seats. वो बात कर रहे हैं ऐसा. रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऐसा नहीं है. कास्ट आपस में झगड़ा करना, basically that is the philosophy of caste system. See, that is the behavior of the caste system. And many sociologists and anthropologists, Mind you, especially our own Mulnivasi background, they have been cheating our society, my dear friends, I tell you. They have dubbed this categorization struggle, in fact, movements as the new social movements. See, today in the institutions of universities and all, this new social movements, quote unquote, they have been starting researching on that. What are the new social movements? Categorization का बात. Categorization की बात क्या है? दो कास्ट आपस में अपॉर्चुनिटीज के लिए झगड़ा कर रहे हैं कि is this a new social movement? Is it a new phenomena? It is just a behavior of caste. It is the psychology of caste. So what has been proved is that in spite of getting education and also in spite of enjoying the representation, the so-called intellectual class of our society, they have failed our society basically in giving us a right kind of a lead. So my dear friends, BAMSF is discussing this issue because to make us understand the correct logic behind the representation. और तीसरी बात है कि all the movements of Mulnivasis, whatever shade and whatever direction, today they are now at crossroads. We are not in a position to give the social pressure in a democracy. We have been divided and dissipated. We are no more a pressure group in the country. We have been divided thoroughly. We have no voice today because of the diversion of the Brahminical forces. Therefore, my dear friends, Baba Sahib ne very clearly बताया कि Brahminism is not a religion, but it is a long-term political strategy. It is a long-term political strategy of the minority people to dominate over the social, economic and political systems of this country. Baba Sahib ne bataya, the problem of this country is that a conscious and determined minority always create conditions in their favor over an amorphous and ignorant majority. तभी बाबा साहब ने 1943 में कह दिया और वो सही अभी भी हो रहे, a conscious and determined minority. वो लोग minority है but they are conscious and they are determined to rule this society. तो क्या करते हैं? They create conditions in their favor because society always changes. So all the new developments they create them in their favor over an amorphous means divided, who are pitted against each other, and ignorant majority. Even after being educated and employed, most of our people are ignorant socially. That is why BAMSF is conducting the cadre camps of educating the educated. So therefore, my dear friends, Baba Sahib said, I quote, Brahmin as a governing class maintain their monopoly. आप पढ़ लीजिए बाबा साहब का. He has very clearly told us, the Brahmin as a governing class maintain their monopoly by sentiments of the people to the control or administration. Clearly Baba Sahib ने दो बात clearly बताया. By manipulating the sentiments of the people. I don't have to explain this particular thing. We know pretty well. They claim, they manipulate. If you ask anybody, they say Brahmin is honest, a Brahmin is intellectual, a Brahmin is knowledgeable, a Brahmin is that and all. Baba Sahib clearly he has brought the concept of culture capital. Baba Sahib said the Brahmins have cultural capital. It is not that others are dullards. I am quoting Baba Sahib. It is not that others are dullards. Universally, intelligence is distributed across the entire society, but opportunities are not. Unquote. बाबा साहब ने क्लियरली कह दिया कि अरे दुनिया में कोई कास्ट कोई नहीं है, वो सभी इंटेलेक्चुअल होगा. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, सभी नॉलेजेबल होगा. नो, इन एवरी कास्ट यू नो यू हैव इंटेलेक्चुअल्स एंड इन एवरी कास्ट यू हैव द स्टूपिड्स, द इग्नोरेंट्स. वैसे भी ब्राह्मण में है, कोई लोग इंटेलेक्चुअल होगा बट ज्यादा के ज्यादा स्टूपिड्स है. और इन एवरी सोसाइटी इज दिस लाइक दैट. बट बाबा साहेब ने कह दिया कि अगर जो ब्राह्मण में इंटेलिजेंट है और नॉलेजेबल है, बट दे आर नॉट यूजिंग देयर इंटेलिजेंस फॉर द सेक ऑफ द सोसाइटी, बेटरमेंट ऑफ द सोसाइटी, इसीलिए बाबा साहेब लिख दिया है कि those who are intellectuals, those who are educated, if they do not have character, an educated without character is more dangerous than a beast. अभी देख रहे कि देश में क्या हो रहा है. These beasts are, these tyrants are governing this society. So बाबा साहेब ने कहते हैं, it is not the intellect. Universally intelligence is distributed across the entire society, but opportunities are not. We are talking about representation that. They block the opportunities of everybody and they maintain the monopoly. यही है तरीका basically. So therefore my dear friends, इसीलिए बाबा साहेब very clearly बताया. See, Brahmins, he used the word Brahmin. I don't have to tell you, in the British period or even they are having monopoly. We know they have got education, and as in fact their percentage, even M.N. Srinivas, he writes, the preponderance of Brahmins in the administration resulted from their over-representation in the university. In 1913, even though they represented 3% of the population, the Brahmins accounted for 72% of graduates in Madras University. This was there in M.N. Srinivas' book, Caste in India, 20th Century Avatar. So, my dear friends, but Baba Sahib says, they have been monopolizing everything. And I also quote another thing, with regard to politics, Baba Sahib, in fact, he has written this in 1943, he writes, unquote, you can refer it in, say, what Congress and Gandhi has done to the untouchables. I am getting this particular point from here. I quote Baba Sahib talking about the over-representation of Brahmins, monopoly of Brahmins in the political lesson or representations. I quote, is there any doubt that when Swaraj came in 1937, in the form of provincial autonomy, the Congress shamelessly put the Brahmins in the places of power and authority. Baba Sahib ne clearly likha hai. And further, in all Hindu provinces, the prime ministers were Brahmins. The cabinets were wholly composed of Brahmins. Unquote. Baba Sahib ne clearly likha hai. He is not talking about Brahminism there. Baba Sahib jante hai what is Marx and what is Marxism. अगर मार्क्सिज्म मार्क्स से लिख दे कि yes fine, Brahminism is the product of Brahmins. It is that they have been educating everybody. It is their mindset. Brahminism, Baba Sahib clearly बताए, it is the negation of liberty, equality and fraternity. This is the principle by which the Brahmins have been monopolizing everything. So clearly Baba Sahib says, instead of surrendering the privileges in the name of nationalism, the governing class in India is misusing the slogan of nationalism to maintain their privileges. Baba Sahib बताए, in the name of nationalism, the Brahmins have been securing their privileges. So therefore, my dear friends, that is why Baba Sahib said, even if the British depart from India, the mill owners, the landlords, and these classes, they will bleed my people. That's what he said. So my dear friends, Baba Sahib वो बात कर रहे हैं, और गांधी ने स्वराज के नाम पे एक चक्कर खिला के 1927 में बाबा साहेब महत टैंक का वो हेजिटेशन लगाया. 1927 में बाबा साहेब राइट्स का बात कर रहे हैं कि 1927 दिसंबर में गांधी ही वाज इनॉग्रेटिंग द फिकी फेडरेशन ऑफ चैम्बर्स ऑफ इंडियन कॉमर्स इन इंडिया. इट वाज इनॉग्रेटेड बाय गांधी इन 1927 दिसंबर. So he is making the country secure for the Brahminical sections, and Baba Sahib rights का बात कर रहे हैं महत टैंक में. We have to understand the context basically. After the independence, I just want to tell this particular thing. After independence, क्या हो गया? See, immediately the Constituent Assembly was dominated by 20 people, of them 13 are Brahmins, and all the ICS became the IS. And in fact, people who do not have eligible qualifications and experience, they become cabinet secretaries. In fact, in 1929, I am quoting the Constituent Assembly debates where Mahavir Tyagi, आप जानते हैं, Mahavir Tyagi, he has complained to the Constituent Assembly in 1949. I quote, in India today, persons of civil service having only 7 or 8 years of service are acting as secretariat in the secretariat as secretaries and chief secretaries. If India were not independent, they would not get these positions after serving for 18 to 19 years. यही बात है. So all the Brahmins who were dominating the ICS, they have immediately have become the secretaries. And during the period of 1947 to 1950, there was a emergency recruitment service for IAS and IPS. आप देखा, just look into the emerging history of India after independence. There was an emergency recruitment. In that emergency recruitment, we have statistics that 98% of the IAS and IPS, they were recruited as emergency recruitment. They were all Brahmins. Yes, clearly they have got the control over administration. So I don't have to tell you who are ruling this country. We have got all the statistics. We have got all the statistics. But the point is, my dear friends, even in the present Lok Sabha, there were only 50 Brahmins. And you know what is the percentage of Brahmins in the ministry? And aap dekha hoga, yes, basically the vital ministries, they are held by Brahmins who are not elected directly. I can tell you the names. The Ministry of HRD, the Ministry of Oil, the Ministry of, in fact, Jairam Ramesh. You talk about the Ministry of Commerce, Ambika Soni ka, Finance Ministry ka, ये सब क्या है? वो backdoor administration है. They never elect, they get elected directly if they are in the hustings. They don't get. But crucial ministries, they will govern. They in fact, they govern. So therefore, my dear friends, but the problem is in the globalization, what they have done. In the globalization, they are establishing them into a monopoly. There are nearly 7 to 8 research works recently done by many people of the position of Brahmins in the software industry. I have evidence of at least 6 to 7 research studies, and one research study says that never in Indian history have there been so many entrepreneurial and managerial Brahmins as can be seen in the software industry now. This was a study of Adams in 2001, Das 2002, Aisbeth of 2000, and then Taube of 2003. They were declaring, they are saying that never in Indian history have there been so many entrepreneurial and then managerial Brahmins as they are seen in today in the software. Within India, the software industry seems to be clearly dominated by South Indian Brahmins. We find them as managers and labor force, but they are less dominant with respect to entrepreneurial aspect. It is not their intelligence, it is only their manipulation basically. That is what these researchers are saying. The other interesting characteristic is that of many IT professionals and the students too, apparently they all have Brahmin background. This is a work done by Deshpande in 2000 and then Xiong, a Japanese scholar, in 2004. So while it seems possible that there is a high percent of Brahmin in the industry workforce, the industry's leadership is dominated by the South Indian Brahmins. This is a work by Merchant, 2007, and then Aisbeth of 2003. Very clearly they are attesting that in the software they are monopolizing. And ये बात नहीं है. It's not that all that say new. बाबा साहेब ये बात कहते हैं 1946 में बाबा साहेब लिखा है, I quote, at present the Brahmin has made an alliance with the Baniya. The shifting of this alliance is from Kshatriya to Baniya is natural. In these days of commerce, money is more important than sword. There is a need for money to run the political machine of the Brahmins. I unquote. Baba Sahib clearly saying, he was indicating as a visionary, he is indicating that this would happen. Today we are seeing that the Brahmin has entered into the industry, they have entered into the economy, they are governing the economy basically. To sum up, I am again quoting Baba Sahib. Baba Sahib wrote, to sum up, the Brahmin enslaves the mind and Baniya enslaves the body. Today both of these things they got fused, and the Brahmin is both enslaving the mind as well as the body. That is the present and imminent danger here. That is why, my dear friends, this is the time where both Brahminism and capitalism together, they are at the highest peak. Are we in a position to understand this particular thing? ये Mulnivasi samaj, the majority Mulnivasi samaj, are we in a position to understand this situation? जो अनपढ़ भी और पढ़ भी है, both educated as well as those people who are ignorant, are we in a position to understand this situation? That is why Baba Sahib said basically, like in the sense, if I quote again Baba Sahib, if the common man belonging to the servile classes in India today is so fallen, so degraded, so devoid of hope and ambition. It is entirely due to the Brahmins and their philosophy. What else you want? Why you are so kind to Brahmins who are so fraternitic? It is the Brahmin, for their domination they have been doing. Baba Sahib is clearly saying that. It is entirely due to the Brahmins and their philosophy. So therefore, my dear friends, today those who talk about growth with human face, these all silent criminals who have been ruling our country, all these Harvard graduated economists, they in fact they talk about growth with human face, and today they are talking about food security bill. They governed for 20 years, and today they say we will see the growth will be monitored with a human face. There will be a growth along with development of all sections. They have promised that to us, and today they are talking about food security bill. Kya hai sir? It is all the Brahminical logic. So the point, my dear friends, is that in this post-globalization times, the aggressive Brahminical urge for monopoly, we are not in a position to contain. See, one thing is that they are trying to show us, our young generation, the false promises. You go to IT industry, you go to this, you go to biotechnology, you go to nanotechnology as only a labor force, but they are turning their eyes towards the public good, the government. The best example is the Aadhaar. The best example is Aadhaar. When there is a decline of contracts for Infosys, there is a decline of contracts for Wipro, there is a decline of contracts for all these so-called IT companies governed by the Brahminical sections. They have turned to the money of the people. They have turned to the budget. Today they say that 72,000 crores are needed for Aadhaar. अरे किसका पैसा है ये सभी? सिर्फ आपके लिए कंप्यूटर कार्ड देने के लिए 76,000 without any clearance from the Lok Sabha. They have already spent more than 15,000 crore rupees. So who gave the permission for them? Simply divert the money. They are of the public good. They are of the resources. They are after our land. Saj chahiye inka. They are after our budget. इसका जाके they are after our own knowledge potential, they are after our own human capital, they are after our own labor. वो जानते हैं वो आप कुछ चलने वाला नहीं है. Because we also have statistics that in the last 10 years 43 companies in America, they have been either destroyed or they had incurred so many losses because of the so-called the Brahminical software professionals. I have a list. आप नेट में चल दीजिए, you talk about these people, you'll get that 43 companies, because of the so-called knowledge society, the so-called intellectual community, they have ruined the economy of 43 companies. It's not that they are intellectuals, they don't allow others, they are conspirators because they are minority and they want to govern. So that is why basically Baba Sahib said, we have expected that. What we expected? Baba Sahib said, we expect to happen in a free and sovereign and free India, the complete destruction of Brahminism as a philosophy of life and social order. This is what we have expected. But what we are seeing today is the establishment and strengthening of the Brahminism and the Brahmin monopoly over everything. So this is what Baba Sahib said. We don't want bread, not the bread, but honor. Is that what they want? That's what Baba Sahib said. Aaj ko, we do not have neither bread nor honor. If you have, everybody is having bread, what's the necessity of making a food security bill? Today it has become a fashion for the government to bring out so-called revolutionary bills. They are in a fashion to bring very good acts, but in implementation nothing will happen. What happened to RTI? What will happen to RTE, right to education? And what will happen to the so-called Lokpal? We all know. आर्य साहब ने बताया ये लोकपाल ये नॉन इश्यू है. The issue is from June 6th 2011 the OBC census has started in this country. Yes, I don't know how many of us are aware of that particular thing. The National Population Register, it has started doing its OBC census, caste census right from June 6th 2011, and you know where it started? It started in Agartala. Nobody knows. It has started. And they are trying to take the census of OBCs. And I do not know, even the political representative of OBCs do not know. Political representatives, the so-called educated people of Mulnivasi society, we do not know. Some one fine day, the government will say that, yes, we have done it. And they'll give us some figures. Supreme Court था चाहते हैं ना, figures को मांगते हैं, वो फालतू figures देते हैं, they said these are the figures. So the problem is, we are not conscious. वो लोग conscious है. वो लोग conscious है और determined भी. कृतनिश्चय है इसके पास में. And we are not conscious. So friends, that is why Baba Sahib said, in fact, what they are doing is not to make India safe for democracy. I quote. Baba Sahib is, in fact, in his essay, let not tyranny have freedom to enslave. In that essay, Baba Sahib says, what they are doing is not to make India safe for democracy, but to free the tyrant to practice his tyrannies. Unquote. Today what's happening is, the Brahminical sections have freedom to enslave us. They have got all the freedom. There is no checks and balances everywhere, anywhere. We are simply mute witnesses. We have been diverted. We have been, in fact, sidelined. We are आपस में झगड़ा कर रहे हैं. वो इसका है, उसका है. OP शुक्ला नाम के वो बताएगा. ये इनको हटा दे लिस्ट में. उनको ये कास्ट को हटा दे. माला को हटा दे. महार को हटा दे. चमार को हटा दे. वो हटाने का काम में है हमने आपस में झगड़ा करने के लिए. वो सारे के सारे रिसोर्सेस वो मोनोपोली कर देता है. वो रिप्रेजेंटेशन भी नहीं, मोनोपोली कर देता है बेसिकली. We will fight among ourselves. The point is this new? It is not new. It has been there it has been their technique. So friends, see, these silent criminals, they have given us a growth without development. They have given jobless growth. See, 85-6%, they are shamelessly saying that, they are living on a meager resource of less than 60 rupees. 60 rupees is the minimum wage they are kept for NGRA, say labor. So they shamelessly say that 86% people, they are under the poverty graph basically. And we have hunger deaths and suicides. And in census, generally what we see is, there is a category called as self-employed category. A category called as self-employed. All these so-called economists, they make some kind of a kind of illusion. They say self-employed. And under the self-employed category, there will be 57% males and 62% females. And nowhere in the census or in anywhere, this word self-employed has been defined. They never defined what is self-employed. क्या है self-employed? भीख मांगते ही भी self-employed है. They don't decide. They don't define. आप पूछ लीजिए किसी इकोनॉमिस्ट को पूछ लीजिए, अरे आप सेंसस में सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड कैटेगरी रखा है, इसमें ज्यादा लोग को उसके बांटा है, बट सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड क्या है? दे विल नॉट से. वो सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड है, वो हमारा पावर्टी का लोग है बेसिकली. सो द फूड सब्सिडी, माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, आई विल टेल यू वन सिंपल स्टैटिस्टिक्स. In 2002-2003, the budget on food, expenses on food, the government has spent is 0.99% of the GDP on the food. That has come down to 0.66 of the GDP in 2005 and 2006. एक तरफ में गवर्नमेंट फूड का एक्सपेंडिचर, लोग का फूड का देने के लिए पीडीएस का एक्सपेंडिचर वो कम कर दिया, और दूसरी तरफ से फूड सिक्योरिटी बिल लाते हैं अभी. फूड सिक्योरिटी का बिल, एक तरफ से आप फूड काट करो, बजट का प्रोविजंस को काट करो, और दूसरी तरफ आपके देखने के लिए फूड सिक्योरिटी बिल, फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट लाते हैं आपको. माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, दिस इज द टेरनी. This is basically a tyranny. That's what's happening. This is what generally the political scientists call as the democratic deficit. There is a term called as democratic deficit. It says that it's a situation where the failure of an elected government to fulfill the promises of the electorate, that is what is called as democratic deficit. So today, my dear friends, all these governments, they have double responsibility. एक responsibility है to serve as facilitator to the markets. दूसरी responsibility है to safeguard this facilitation from the agitations of people whom they elect. So such a shameless things are happening. Baba Sahib said that's why freedom is nothing but the Nazi or Nietzschean doctrine of freedom of Superman to rule the common man. So, my dear friend, that is what has been happening today. So, therefore, my dear friends, it all is happening not just because of the Brahminical monopoly, it has been happening because of our failure to understand the logic of reservation, the logic of representations. The logic of representation is not just seats and posts. The logic of representation, Baba Sahib बताए कि the logic of representation is to have a right to share our governance of this country. It is not simply sharing of seats and posts. If we don't understand that logic of the philosophy of unity behind the providing us the representations, we will only be dividing based on that. We will only be simply dividing. And the same trick they will play what Manu has played. To enslave the Shudras and the women, he has denied the rights. Even today they have been denying. The technique is outrightly deny everything, then allow for scheduled caste and tribes, oppose the OBCs. वो सभी हो रहा है. So, my dear friends, this is the place where, in fact, we have to forge unity. We have to make our people understand what is the logic of representation. Baba Sahib ने किया है. What is the logic of representation? Phule Sahib ने दिया है. Phule Sahib ने, in fact, he has asked, we want representations in the field of education, employment, agriculture, bureaucracy, industry, and governance of this country based on the prorate of the population. Have you ever tried for agriculture? Have you ever talked about industry? We don't talk about representations. Baba Sahib ne bataya, representation is nothing but, show the people here. No. Representation, Baba Sahib said, true and adequate representation. A representative should be a true representative. The right kind of representative, where he is aware of the things of his own self and he should be aware of the dangers to the society. Unfortunately, we do not have that kind of representatives. Neither we have right kind of representatives, nor we do not understand the philosophy of unity. We fail to, in fact, forge unity as bahujans, as Buddha expected us, or Shudras and Shudras as Phule expected us, as Dravidians as Periyar expected us, as Adivasi, Adi Kudimakkal as Aitadas expected us, as scheduled caste, tribal tribe and OBCs as Baba Sahib expected us. We fail to forge a unity. We fail to understand the logic of representation. That is why our situation is like this. So, my dear friends, BAMSF, in fact, it has been discussing this situation because it has come up with the right kind of identity which will forge the aspect of unity. The Mulnivasi concept. अगर आप हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है, बट गंगावाने साहब, बोरकर साहब सही कई बार हमको एक्सप्लेन कर दिया what is the basic philosophy behind the Mulnivasi concept. It is the concept which unites us socially, and it is the concept which takes us to the right kind of share, to claim the right kind of share in the governance of this country. So therefore, BAMSF in fact wants us to understand that logic of representation. We are not here living in the society on the mercy of some few individual Brahmins. No. They do that only to, in fact, safety, as a safety valve, they do that. बाबा साहिब ने कहा दिया कि गांधी को, अरे वो बात ये कर रहे, इंडिविजुअल के ये बात कर रहे. We are not here to get your mercy as paternalistic attitude. We want to fight for our own rights in this country. We want the right kind of a governance in this country. We want democracy, and we want it with honor, not by your alms and mercy. So therefore, my dear friends, we have to understand this danger. Today, the Mulnivasi society is not in a position to understand the over-representation of Brahmins and also the aspects of monopoly which they are trying to understand one. And even if we understand, we are not in a position to resist that particular thing because we have been divided because of the Brahminical mindset of being divided. We have to shed the caste mentality. We have to remove the mentality of division. We have to remove the mentality of, the short-sightedness which they have been showing us. We have to understand the real enemy. That is why, in fact, my dear friends, BAMSF has put this for discussion. And in fact, we have to enlighten, we have to aware our people not to fall trap into that kind of a categorization issue. It is an issue to divert the monopoly of the Brahmins to govern this country. So it is the duty of every Democrat, every Mulnivasi to make our people aware, to safeguard against the tyranny of the Brahminical people and the Brahmins. My dear friends, Baba Sahib said, let tyranny Let not tyranny has the freedom to enslave. We will fight for our freedom. We will arrest the tyranny of the Brahminical sections and the Brahmins of the country. We will have to do that. Otherwise, as Baba Sahib said, if democracy dies, it will be our doom. So therefore, we have to decide this particular thing. It is a crisis of our existence in this country as free citizens. I think so. We will take this message to everybody and see that the right kind of representative logic, the cultural logic of representation is understood by every citizen of this country, so that the right kind of democracy is established. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi.
अभी हमारे पास हर साल की भांति इस साल की मूल निवासी दिनदर्शिका है, जिसका उद्घाटन हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष माननीय धामी साहब करेंगे।
सॉरी साथियों, मेरी मजबूरी है, मैं इतने रिसोर्सेस को बर्बादी की तरफ नहीं देख सकता। इस विषय के साथ जैसा मजाक हुआ, मैं बहुत ज़्यादा तकलीफ़ में हूँ। विषय क्या है? जो हम जानते थे वो सुनने के लिए ये विषय हमने नहीं रखा था। हमारी एक प्रैक्टिकल फील्ड प्रॉब्लम है कि हम हमारे लोगों को कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज करें, उसमें जो बाधाएं हैं उनको कैसे दूर करें। नहीं तो इधर आने का कोई मतलब नहीं है। ये विषय जब हमने सीसी में डिस्कस किया तो बड़ा क्लियर था कि हम ये विषय क्यों रख रहे। हमारे समाज में हमारे विभिन्न जो ग्रुप हैं, डिफरेंट जो हमारे ग्रुप्स हैं, एससीज, एसटीज, ओबीसीज, माइनॉरिटीज़, उनमें जो नफ़रत पैदा करने के लिए जो डिफरेंट हमारे ग्रुप्स ओबीसीज और माइनॉरिटीज़ हैं, ख़ास तौर से उनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन कम रहा, उसको नफ़रत पैदा करने के लिए इस्तेमाल किया गया। हम वो बाधा इस विषय से दूर करना चाहते थे कि उसके लिए जिम्मेदार कौन है। ब्राह्मण्स अपने टैलेंट की वजह से ज़्यादा संख्या में आया। काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स में देखो बहुमत उनका रहा, लेजिस्लेचर में जिधर देखो उनका बहुमत रहा, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में उन्होंने अपना बहुमत बनाया, आर्मी में उन्होंने ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा पोजीशंस पे अपना बहुमत बनाया। आखिर ये सब उन्होंने कैसे किया? और इनका ठीकरा फोड़ा शेड्यूल कास्ट के ऊपर ओबीसी को समझाने के लिए, ताकि ओबीसी को शेड्यूल कास्ट के खिलाफ खड़ा किया जाए। ये एक बड़ी समस्या खड़ी हुई है। रिजर्वेशन विद इन द रिजर्वेशन वो एक अलग मुद्दा खड़ा हो गया है। तो हम ये सारी चीज़ों को इस विषय के माध्यम से एनालिसिस करके हमको कैसे फील्ड में जाना चाहिए, कैसे लोगों को समझाना चाहिए, कैसे इस चीज़ को जाएं, ताकि ये जो मुद्दा उन्होंने हमारे खिलाफ इस्तेमाल किया, इसको हम लोगों को समझा पाएँ कि कैसे उन्होंने तुम्हारा जो बनता था वो उन्होंने लिया और हमारे खिलाफ तुमको कैसे इस्तेमाल किया। ये तमाम सारी चीज़ों पे हमने विश्लेषण करना था, लेकिन इस विषय का ऐसा कचरा किया, वो बड़ा अजीब मुझे लग रहा था। ये हो क्या रहा है? कोई रिजर्वेशन के ऑर्डर हमें समझा रहा है, कोई कुछ समझा रहा है, सॉरी जेंटलमैन, कोई कुछ समझा रहा है। हमारा जो अध्यक्षता कर रहा है वो तो रिएक्शन में ही चला गया, पूरा रिएक्शन में। एक गेस्ट स्पीकर ने उठा, अरे भाई हमने उनको बुलाया, बोलने दो ना, उनका अपना जो नॉलेज है, जो लेवल है, जो उनकी जानकारी है, इंक्लिनेशन है, उनका एजेंडा हो सकता है इधर आने का। लेट हिम स्पीक। उसको रिएक्शन में क्या जरूरत है जाने की? आपको सब्जेक्ट के साथ जस्टिस करना है और किस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने के लिए सब्जेक्ट हमने रखा, दैट शुड बी केप्ट इन माइंड व्हाइल यू आर डिलीवरिंग द प्रिसाइडिंग स्पीच। मैं आगे के 3 दिनों में ये बर्दाश्त नहीं करूंगा। जब सीईसी में डिस्कशन हुआ, यू मस्ट बी वेरी क्लियर व्हाट पर्पज वी वांट टू सॉल्व फ्रॉम दिस सब्जेक्ट। अगर सीसी का मेंबर इधर प्रिसाइड कर रहा है तो उसको मालूम होना चाहिए सब्जेक्ट से व्हाट एम वी हैव टू अचीव। ये हमने इतना सारा पैसा बर्बाद किया, ये रखा है इसलिए नहीं किया है कि जो हम पहले से जानते हैं वही सब सुनना है हमको। जिन मुद्दों पर पहले से हम चर्चा कर चुके हैं उन्हीं पर करना है। नो, मैं चाहता नहीं था आना, मुझे लगा कि डॉक्टर सत्यपाल विल डू जस्टिस विद दिस सब्जेक्ट, but he also completely went out of the this subject's aim and fell into reaction. That is not required from a president. उनको बोलने दो भाई, मेहमान है हमारे, वो थोड़े ही हमारे कैडर हैं या वो आंदोलन नहीं चला रहे, वो जो कर रहे हैं उनके हिसाब से वही सबसे बड़ी चीज़ है दुनिया की, तो वो वही बोलेंगे। आप परेशान क्यों हो रहे हैं इसमें? अरे हमने उनको सुनने के लिए बुलाया है, उनको सुनो विद ड्यू रिगार्ड टू देम, पूरी सम्मान इज्जत के साथ उनको सुनो, लेकिन उनकी बात पर रिएक्शन नहीं देना। आपको क्लैरिफिकेशन देनी है लेकिन सब्जेक्ट के साथ अन्याय नहीं होना चाहिए। उस दायरे में ही रह करके क्लैरिफिकेशन जानी चाहिए, लेकिन सब्जेक्ट जिस मकसद के लिए हमने सीसी में डिस्कस किया वो मकसद के साथ बिल्कुल मजाक नहीं होना चाहिए। विद दिस वी विल रिलीज़ द कैलेंडर। ये अगले साल का कैलेंडर है। हम इसको 6 दिसंबर को ही ऑल ओवर इंडिया में भेजना चाह रहे थे, बट ड्यू टू सर्टेन प्रैक्टिकल डिफ़िकल्टीज़ ये हमने उस वक्त नहीं कर पाया। इसके लिए मैं आप लोगों से माफ़ी चाहता हूँ। और ये अभी इस मौके पर हम रिलीज़ करेंगे, तो ये आप लोग लेकर के जाइए और जितनी ज़रूरत हो, जितना यहाँ पर अवेलेबल है वो ले लीजिए। अगर आपको लगता है कम है, डिमांड यहाँ दे दीजिए ताकि सेंट्रल ऑफिस से, या अगर यहाँ नागपुर ऑफिस में होगा तो यहाँ से मंगा लिया जाएगा, नहीं तो दिल्ली ऑफिस से सीधा भेज दिया जाएगा। सो मेहरबानी करके अपनी डिमांड यहाँ पर ज़रूर दीजिए। बाद में मत कहिएगा कि साहब इतना कैलेंडर और हमको चाहिए था, इतना और चाहिए था। ये मालूम है आपको बड़ी परेशानी से प्रिंट होता है। इसकी कॉस्ट भी हमने 50% पे ले आए हैं। 20 रुपये में हम दे रहे, 40 के आसपास कॉस्ट पड़ती है, तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने सब्सिडाइज़ किया हुआ है। ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इसको हमारे समाज के घरों में जाए और लोग देखें हर महीने के, हमारे भी समाज के हर महीने में कोई न कोई ये महापुरुष का कोई जन्मदिन पड़ता है, कभी कुछ पड़ता है, कोई और अवसर हैं। तो ये सारा इतिहास हमारे लोगों को हमेशा घरों में रहे और लोग देखते रहें, हमेशा सुबह शाम उनको दिन में और सोते टाइम भी रहे सामने कि ये हमारा इतिहास है। तो वो सब आप इसको ले जाएं और अपनी डिमांड रख जाएं। अभी हम इसको रिलीज़ करते हैं।
साथियों, ठाकरे साहब को सूचना देंगे